Assalamu alaikum and welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are charting a really specific, really exciting course. Because if you're a medical professional, a researcher, or a surgical pioneer, you already know that doing the actual groundbreaking work is only half the battle, right? The other half? Getting it published, having it validated, and actually sharing it with the global medical community. So today, we're focusing on the Asia-Pacific Journal of Surgical Advances, or APJSA for short. We're going to take a dynamic, high-level look at exactly what it takes to get your research from a raw manuscript sitting on your computer screen to a fully published, peer-reviewed article in this journal.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, welcome to the APJSA. 2. Scope and editorial team. 3. Preparing your manuscript. 4. The online submission process. And finally, number 5. Inside the peer review.
Part 1. Welcome to the APJSA. Okay, let's dive right into this and look at the overarching mission of the APJSA. And honestly, what makes them such a unique platform for your research. It's a biannual peer-reviewed journal, and it is 100% dedicated to advancing global surgical science. But what really stands out here is their commitment to accessibility and author support. They've got fast-track and open access options to get your crucial data out to the medical community fast. And, in a publishing landscape that's just full of upfront paywalls, here is a massive point of relief. The APJSA charges a publication fee only after your manuscript has been formally accepted. No way, right? Even better, they actually offer fee waivers for cases of financial hardship. This ensures that their robust editorial support and incredibly high standards are available to brilliant minds worldwide, totally regardless of their immediate funding situation. Moving on to Section 2, Scope and Editorial Team. Now, you might be wondering, hey, does my specific surgical niche actually fit into this journal? Well, let's look at the incredible breadth of their disciplines. The APJSA casts a seriously wide net. We're talking a massive scope of over 25 distinct specialties. They cover the foundational pillars, of course: general, laparoscopic, oncologic, cardiothoracic, and orthopedic surgery. But they also delve really deep into highly specialized areas like neurosurgery, vascular, pediatric, and, get this, even wilderness surgery. What's truly exciting, though, is their commitment to the cutting edge of the field. By explicitly focusing on disciplines like robotic surgery and minimal access surgery, they are actively looking for research that pushes the absolute boundaries of modern patient care and surgical techniques.
So, who is actually evaluating all this cutting-edge science? You can be completely reassured your manuscript is in expert hands. The journal is spearheaded by Editor-in-Chief Dr. M.D. Anurul Haque, alongside executive editors from the UK and Bangladesh. But the broader scientific editors and advisory board, they literally span the globe. When you submit here, your work is potentially being reviewed by a diverse scientific team of experts located in the United Kingdom, Turkey, Canada, Romania, Egypt, and Iraq. And because your reviewers could literally be in the UK, Turkey, or Canada, it's a great reminder, your writing has to be universally clear. Ditch the regional medical jargon, you're writing for a truly international standard of review.
All right, Section 3, Preparing your manuscript. Now that we know exactly who we're submitting to, let's talk practical steps. Time to prepare that manuscript. And listen, I know we all groan at formatting rules, but let's reframe how we think about them. They aren't a burden. They are the key to letting the editors focus purely on your brilliant science instead of, getting distracted by layout issues. So the crucial point is this: strict parameters create a smooth, standardized reading experience. Yes, you absolutely must use the beloved Times New Roman size 12 with 1-inch margins and single spacing. Keep your title sharp, a maximum of 15 words. Your abstract needs to be a really tight summary, capping out at 250 words, and you'll need to pick 6 to 10 highly relevant keywords. Honestly, submitting a perfectly formatted paper right out of the gate is a total game changer. It dramatically speeds up the initial review timeline because it proves to the editors you're meticulous and respect their guidelines. But it's not just about fonts and margins, right? Your paper needs a highly logical flow. You've got to have clearly defined sections, starting with your introduction and detailed methodology, flowing smoothly into your results and a really deep discussion of those findings, and then wrapping up with your conclusion and practical recommendations. And a quick pro tip: absolutely no new arguments in the conclusion. You also have to use APA citation style for all your references. Finally, transparency is just non-negotiable here. You absolutely must clearly disclose any funding sources, declare any potential conflicts of interest, and provide the reference number for your ethical approval. Which brings us to Section 4, the online submission process.
So you've written the paper, you've formatted it perfectly. But hold on, before you hit submit on their online portal, you need to run through a final pre-submission checklist. Did you obtain legal permission to publish any photos or datasets? Have all the named authors formally consented to be identified? Do you actually have your ethics committee approval documented? This is vital, guys, because the editorial team does an initial evaluation before a peer reviewer ever even sees it. And honestly, editors can and will issue what's called a desk reject if those minimum standards aren't met. Your absolute best defense against a desk reject? A beautifully structured study design, a well-articulated research argument, and an abstract so clear it could stand entirely on its own.
And finally, Section 5. Inside the peer review.
If your paper passes that initial editorial check, huge congratulations. You are now entering the final and definitely the most important phase of the journey, the rigorous but incredibly fair gauntlet of the peer review process. Now, what's really interesting here is that the APJSA operates on a strict double-blind peer review system. Why does this matter so much? Because it acts as the ultimate scientific equalizer. The reviewers don't know who you are and you don't know who they are. It completely strips away any potential biases regarding institutional prestige, geographic location, or prior reputation. It protects the integrity of the whole process, ensuring that your work is judged entirely on the merit of the science on the page.
Let's actually map out the macro steps of this review gauntlet. After that initial editorial evaluation, qualified reviewers are assigned. During the double-blind review, they're judging your manuscript on 4 main pillars: scientific quality, originality, clarity, and relevance to the journal's scope. Based on their feedback, the editorial team makes a decision. And look, very often this includes a request for author revisions. Don't stress, this is a totally normal, healthy part of scientific publishing. You get the opportunity to revise based on expert feedback. Your manuscript might go through a quick re-review before the final editorial decision is made, leading us to, hopefully, final publication.
The APJSA actually outlines a very comprehensive 14-point review process in their guidelines, but the ultimate goal of every single step is just to maintain ethical standards and ensure the validity of your work. The outcome of all this rigorous checking, the blind reviewing, the revising, it isn't meant to be a roadblock. It's genuinely meant to be a constructive, smooth experience that actively elevates your research. And when your paper is finally accepted, well, you know for a fact it has truly earned its place in the global medical literature.
And that perfectly illustrates the journey of a manuscript at the Asia-Pacific Journal of Surgical Advances. It's a platform built entirely on rigor, fairness, and true global accessibility. You know their scope now, you've got the formatting rules down, and you understand the double-blind process. The path is crystal clear. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. What surgical breakthrough will you publish next? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, best of luck with your research submissions.